Luke Pollard.
And pleasure to follow the member for Aberdeenshire West, because I'm also intend to speak on the Navy. I'd like to pay tribute not only to our armed forces, but also to all the civilians that work with our armed forces, because I think it's important their contribution also needs to be noted, because without them, we would not have the armed forces that we have today. Defence is an issue that's very close to my heart, and I have asked the Minister a few questions on this, and I'm sure I will be doing more. As a son of a submariner, the future shape of the Royal Navy is something that's not only important to my family, but also to Plymouth, which is where I represent. The challenge now is, how do we adapt the Navy to serve the challenges that we face as a country? And I fear that the 2010 SDSR and the 2015 SDSR did not always do us many favours in having the shape of the Royal Navy that we need. In that respect, I want to be clear, we have too few escort frigates. We need to have more escort frigates, and those frigates need to be more capable in terms of defensive and offensive weaponry. The armaments on the Type 26 and the Type 31s potentially is something that I'm deeply concerned about, because they don't provide the full spectrum capabilities that I believe those frigates require if they are to challenge face the threats that they will be asked to do so. I'm concerned that there's a broad capability gap in our Royal Navy at times. I think this can be best summed up in what's happening with HMS Ocean. HMS Ocean is a Devonport-based helicopter carrier. In 2015, there was much hullabaloo in Plymouth, as there was rumours that HMS Ocean was going to be scrapped by the Conservative government at the time. We had reassurance from the ministers that that was not true. 3 months later, HMS Ocean was indeed to be scrapped and sold off. And I'm concerned that the lack of helicopter carrier capability, especially that can operate in littoral waters, is something that the government still hasn't addressed in the latest SDSR, and is something that needs looking at. It is inconceivable that we would put a carrier, a capital ship of that size, so close to the shore that it can adequately deploy a two-company lift without having the support of a littoral capability, and our carriers do not have that capability. So I'm concerned as to how that fits. HMS Ocean is not only our only amphibious craft. HMS Bulwark and HMS Albion, two more Devonport-based ships, are also vital to the ability of the Royal Navy to deploy. One of those is tied up alongside at the moment, and the other one is back on sea trials. I fear that we need to look again at our full spectrum capabilities in the Royal Navy to make sure that is adequate. And that brings on to the frigate conundrum. I'm pleased that the Minister has ordered 3 Type 26 frigates. I would like to see the full order book being ordered. Now, I was only in nappies when previous governments ordered the Type 23s, a workhorse of our Royal Navy. But if you look at the costs of splitting the batches of the Type 23s and procurement for ships in the past, we know that we could derive greater value from ordering in larger batches. The large cost of the 3 Type 26s could be reduced further if we ordered more of them at the same time. And I'm concerned that there could be a risk that we switch production from Type 26s to Type 31s to Type 26s to Type 31s, which means there is a concern about how the skills and efficiencies can be derived from the yards in Scotland that will be producing them. Now, I think we have a huge opportunity to make sure that the Type 31s is an adequate and capable frigate. I'm concerned that at the moment, the outline for the Type 31 frigate includes only one offensive weapon, which is its main gun. I think I would like to ask the Minister to think carefully about what the capabilities not only of the Type 26 but of the Type 31 as well, because if we're asking the Type 31 frigates to be put in harm's way, having one offensive weapon on the entire ship is insufficient in order to do that. I'm pleased that the artisan radar from the Type 23s is being continued on in Type 26s, but I think in terms of capabilities, I think there's much to be derived here, and I'd like the Minister to think again about how much weaponry we put on the Type 26s and the Type 31s.
Eddie Hughes.